They said I had to accept my sister's affair with my husband. They said my feelings didn't matter, and when I refused, they tried to have me committed, all to steal my $3.2 million inheritance. But they didn't know I was already 3 steps ahead. The FBI was watching, and I had a lawyer in my corner. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, subscribe now. Hit that like button because this story isn't just about revenge, it's about reclaiming your power and making justice unforgettable. Stay with me, because this story gets wild. I never imagined my life could unravel so quickly. It started as a normal family dinner, the kind you'd expect to be warm and comforting. But that night, the room smelled of tension and deceit. My parents, my sister, people I loved looked at me not as family, but as an obstacle. "You're making this harder than it needs to be," my mother said, her voice dripping with fake patience. "Just accept it. She's been with him for months." I froze. My husband, my life partner, my sister? The words didn't fully register at first. The betrayal was so massive, so surreal, that my mind tried to dismiss it as a nightmare. But the smirk on my sister's face told me it was all too real. "You expect me to just what? Pretend this didn't happen?" I asked, my voice trembling, a mixture of disbelief and rage. My father leaned back in his chair, his expression tight. "It's easier if you just go along with it. Stop making waves." It was in that moment that I realized they weren't asking, they were demanding. My life, my marriage, my dignity, it all seemed disposable to them. And the inheritance, the $3.2 million that was rightfully mine, they wanted that too. The next few days were worse. Secret conversations, hushed whispers, even veiled threats. They began subtly suggesting I was unstable, that my emotions were too much to handle. At first, I laughed nervously. I thought, surely, they can't be serious. But then the letters arrived. Official-looking notices suggesting that my mental state was in question, that perhaps I should consider evaluation. Panic surged for a moment, but only briefly. Somewhere deep inside me, a resolve began to grow. I had been underestimated my whole life. They thought I was weak, compliant, naive. But they didn't know me. They didn't know I had already anticipated every move. Months before, I had quietly hired a lawyer, someone skilled in family law and financial security. And a few weeks before the confrontation, I had reached out to the FBI anonymously after noticing suspicious activity around my accounts and communications. I had gathered evidence, recorded conversations, and documented their attempts to manipulate me. I was ready. The day they tried to make their move, the day they attempted to have me declared mentally unfit, was the day they would meet their match. My sister had been texting my husband openly, flaunting her betrayal. My parents had arranged for a psychiatrist to evaluate me, claiming I was unstable. But when the process began, the tables turned immediately. My lawyer was there, armed with evidence. My sister's confession messages, my husband's recorded denial of any wrongdoing, bank statements showing their attempts to access my inheritance, and more. The FBI agents, who had been monitoring the threats and financial fraud attempts, had quietly moved in. Cameras, surveillance, and documents all lined up neatly against them. The confrontation was electric. My mother tried to interrupt, but my lawyer's calm authority silenced her. My father's face drained of color when he realized the FBI knew everything. My sister's smirk faltered into a mask of shock. "You're underestimating me," I said, my voice steady, my pulse calm despite the adrenaline flooding my veins. "Every move you've made, every lie, every attempt to destroy me, I documented it. The law is on my side, and I have allies you can't even see." And then it happened. The first domino fell. My sister received a subpoena. My parents were questioned. The inheritance, which they had schemed to divert, was legally secured in my name with additional protections. The psychiatrist evaluation turned into a review of their manipulative tactics, their plan to declare me unfit, and their unethical interference. I remember standing there, watching the panic creep into their expressions. For years I had been silenced, doubted, overlooked. And in those moments, I felt something I hadn't in a long time: total control. Every heartbeat of fear on their side echoed with my vindication. The FBI made it clear any attempt to interfere further would result in criminal charges. My lawyer smiled slightly, almost as if to say, "I told you so." And for the first time in what felt like forever, I breathed freely. My husband, who had been manipulated and confused, finally understood the truth and apologized for the blindness he had shown. We rebuilt what could be salvaged, fortified by trust and transparency. I didn't just reclaim my inheritance, I reclaimed my power, my dignity, and my peace of mind. And as the dust settled, I realized something profound. Revenge isn't about cruelty or malice. It's about asserting your truth, defending your rights, and ensuring that justice, real, undeniable justice, is done. Weeks later, my family's attempts at manipulation had fully unraveled. My sister's credibility was destroyed in legal records. My parents faced formal scrutiny, and any thought of touching my inheritance was permanently halted. I sat in my living room one evening, the documents neatly stacked on the table, my husband beside me. I felt something I never thought I would. Peace. Not revenge in the petty sense, but complete vindication. They had underestimated me, but their plans, no matter how elaborate, had collapsed under the weight of preparation, truth, and unwavering resolve. Sometimes the people closest to you can become your greatest threats. And while betrayal cuts deep, it also teaches a vital lesson. Preparation, awareness, and composure can turn even the most desperate situations into triumphs. Justice isn't always immediate, but when it arrives, it's unforgettable. What about you? Have you ever faced betrayal that shook your world? Share your story in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because the next story is going to show that when people try to break you, sometimes the sweetest revenge is just being unstoppable.